We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fair to say. Can't breathe in the sunlight.
Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here. Welcome back to Changeling. We are here waking up real late because your girl was sleepwalking in the middle of the night last night. So that's what I've been up to. How about you? Sister was rinsing a glass at the sink and Mom was at the table. They both watched me guzzle the coffee and pour another cup. Spencer turned back to what he was doing, but Mom immediately came over to me. Honey, are you feeling okay? I nodded over my cup. Yep. Like death warmed over, but totally okay. You sure? You look terrible. Thanks, Mom. Just didn't sleep well. Absolutely did not sneak out in the middle of the night to be carried through the woods by a werewolf. Almost died too. Let's add that. Nope. The sound of shattering glass interrupted us, and we both looked towards Spencer, shocked. Spencer was standing there, staring down at the sink as Mom rushed over. Are you okay? Yeah, the glass just slipped. You cut yourself. We need to get this washed up. Mom, I can handle it myself. I fished around in my backpack for my phone while I watched Mom fuss over Spencer's hand and wondered who was texting me so early. Enjoy your ride this morning. What? At that moment, someone rang the front doorbell. I'll get that. Mom was still fussing over Spencer and the broken glass, so I don't think she even heard me. You have a car, Danny? I opened the door to find Danny there. I blinked up at him. I hope you don't mind, but I'll be driving you to school this morning. Did you tell Allie? I just stared at him, my brain still trying to catch up with the situation. Michiko, is there someone at the door? Who is it? Mom, at least come to the front door instead of shouting from the kitchen. Oh, it's Danny from next door. Oh, Danny, it's so good to see you again. Come in. Okay. Danny grinned and stepped inside. I was still trying to work out why I was suddenly riding to school with him. He gave me a teasing smile. Rough night? Yeah? Don't give me that innocent smile, Mr. I nearly chased you off a cliff. You look like you're still half asleep. I think I am. Mom finally came into the foyer to say hello. So what brings you over this morning? I'm just here to pick up Michiko. You're taking Michiko to school today? If she doesn't mind. She doesn't. Just let me grab my things. I scrambled back to the kitchen and take a last swallow of coffee and rinse the mug. Grabbing my coat and book bag, I rushed back to the front before Mom said anything embarrassing. Fortunately, she was too busy raggling Danny with the fascinating story of Spencer breaking his glass to worry about embarrassing me. Ready? Have a good day today. I'll try. She shooed us outside and turned to shout at Spencer to hurry it up. As Danny led me to his car, where he opened the door for me and waited for me to get in, I glanced back to see her grin and give me 2 thumbs up. No, Mom! Please do not read too much into this. From the look on her face, it was too late for that. I could only imagine the conversation we were going to be having that evening. Sorry to surprise you again. I just wanted to talk for a bit about last night. I was wondering. I hope it's okay. I texted Allie to ask her if she minded. I probably should have asked you first, though. No, it's fine. I'm pretty adaptable. And I mean, it's not like I'm going to turn down a ride with a friend. I can't wait to close the same cute guy. Just then. Yikes. Yeah, I think because you guys are friends, you could totally joke around like that. Why not? So, what specifically did you want to talk about? Just last night and what happened there. There's not much more to talk about. I nearly got you killed. That wasn't exactly your fault. You didn't nearly fall into the ravine until I scared you. Will you finally be satisfied if I agree it was your fault and refuse to speak to you again? No, I wouldn't find that satisfying, actually. Then can we agree that no one was at fault, and it was just a series of unfortunate events, and that since tragedy was averted, we don't need to dwell on it? I just feel bad about it. I usually try to avoid being seen because of this kind of thing. Danny, regardless of what spooked me, you literally grabbed me out of the air and kept me from getting hurt, so I think that makes up for startling me, don't you? But I gave him a long look. I was really surprised he was so bothered by it. I nearly hurt a friend. I can't just forget about it so easily. I shouldn't have stayed so close to the house. Normally I don't, but last night... What? He definitely hesitated before answering. There have been some other wars prowling around the last few months. I really didn't want to deal with any of them. Did she write that down or something? That scared me, the scribbling noise. So those werewolves last night. He must have been trying to avoid scaring me. Are there a lot of werewolves in this area? There are 2 large clans that live in the region. 1 smaller clan and a handful of non-associated people like me. Those of us that aren't part of a clan. When you say clan, you mean like family groups. They're more like social political groups. Not everyone in the clan is related by blood, though many are. It was surprising he was actually sharing all this. Normally when I asked questions about specific things, people clammed up. It was amazing how close to the vest everyone played their secrets. Then again, I was still the newbie, and no one quite knew for certain what it was. I guess I hadn't earned their trust yet. But Danny was just a really open guy, I guess. Do you not like them? The other werewolves, I mean. It's not that. They're not bad people. Then what is it? Danny sighed and frowned out the windshield. Frowned at? I don't know. Werewolf society is kind of hard to describe. It's not very inclusive. If you're not one of us, they typically want nothing to do with you. Conversely, if you are a werewolf, they pretty much expect you to join a group and isolate yourself from everyone else. The groups don't always get along with each other. There's a lot of infighting, battling for territory, dominance. I don't like it. But those of us that are loners tend to take some flack. Without a clan to back you up, you're a pretty easy target. It's easier to just avoid them. That sounded intense. I guess that's why Sean and Derek were so interested in him then. I guess now is a good time for us to learn about Sean and Derek, right? Is that why Sean and Derek are so, you know? He glanced at me, still frowning. Well, it's not entirely unrelated. They also aren't involved with any clans currently. If enough loners start sticking together, then you essentially got a fledgling clan formed, though. So that's what they want, to start a clan with you. Yeah, more for their own benefit than mine. I've made an effort to blend into normal society as much as possible, and have no plans to change it. I'm not interested in the backbiting and power play of werewolf society, and I don't want to deal with the repercussions of getting involved with them. They clash with the agency, clash with hunter groups. Hunters? That's the thing. Unfortunately, yeah. They're just groups of people that sometimes have violent encounters with cryptics. They're human for the most part, but they know about cryptics. They have no qualms? Picking... I don't know that word at all. Picking off those that are seen as dangerous. Okay, my girl's like writing this note down. Sound is scaring me. So let me lower that down. But how can that be possible? We're also people. Enforcement of cryptic rights is kind of an issue, but the agency that you guys... It's a small government organization that flies completely under the radar. Any laws that exist clearly didn't go through the normal legal process, you know? Ugh. Sorry. Jesus. I just feel so bad for Danny. Like, he literally has to fight for himself. Derek and Sean wants to make this group, but I feel like they're just gonna overpower Danny. So it's no win here. They have about as much power as they are physically capable of enforcing. At the local event level, their ability to handle major conflicts within the cryptic community is somewhat limited. And when things get to be too much, who can they go to for backup? Why do you think the local office uses high school interns as part of their force? But people like you and me didn't ask to be part of this. I know. But who are you going to go lobby to change for? You can't exactly write a letter to Congress. He was right, but just... that wasn't fair. Groups going around exterminating people they thought were dangerous? Werewolves tend to be targeted. We're seen as very dangerous. Being in a clan makes things easier. Not many people are willing to infuriate an entire clan of supernatural wolf people. Some clans number in the hundreds. If you end up in a strong clan, no one's going to mess with you. I sighed deeply. You're not worrying about me, are you? Of course I am. Oh wow, I said it without even reading it first. How can I not worry about hearing something like that? Well, don't. Look, I don't stand out. I try very hard not to stand out. I'm going to be fine. Your eyes stand out though, so you can't change your eyes unless you put contacts on them or something. Besides, the biggest threat to any cryptic is definitely going to come from within our community, not without. That doesn't make me feel better. Danny pulled into the school parking lot and found an empty space. We quickly got out and he walked around the front of the car to wait for me to join him. Now, about the other thing I wanted to bring up. What's that? I know you don't want to talk about the sleepwalking thing, and that's okay, but I think it would be a good idea to tell Mozzie about it. How come? I shuffled my feet uncomfortably now that this topic had come back up. He was right, I didn't want to talk about it. Mozzie doesn't need nearly as much sleep as a normal person. He can keep an eye out for you in case you leave the house again, and we can make sure you don't wander around the woods anymore. I chewed my lip reluctantly. I didn't want to worry everyone with the problem that may or may not even be paranormal related. It's okay to rely on us. I've been doing nothing but relying on everyone since all this started. I feel like I'm being a burden. Danny reached down and took my hand, squeezing it gently. At the very least, can you rely on me a little bit more? It's a dangerous time of the year for something like this to be going on unchecked. I don't want anything to happen to you. Oh. Heart started thumping wildly. I knew Danny was the world's nicest guy. I knew he probably didn't mean anything by it, but I couldn't help but want there to be some special meaning behind the fact that he was constantly doing things like holding my hands and carrying my things for me. Squeeze his hand and let go. Pull your hand away or keep holding his hand. I didn't even know we were holding hands to begin with. Can I keep holding it? It's not that I don't want to rely on people, but if it's just a medical issue, there's no reason to broadcast it. I hope you'd tell me if you were having a medical issue. I stared down at our hands and wondered how long it was acceptable to hold his hand before it stopped being a friend thing. I don't know that limit. I need to stop thinking things like this. Well, I guess it would depend on the medical problem. I mean, if it was something totally embarrassing like excess sweating or halitosis, then I'm sorry, but I probably won't tell you. He laughed. Okay, I'll give you that one. You don't have to tell me about every medical problem. But I mean, his thumb brushed against my knuckles. so sweet. And I suddenly found it completely impossible to look into his eyes. I wish you'd trust me a little more. Oh dear. Oh no! It's not that I didn't trust you. The truth is, it's scary. I feel like if I start telling others about it and getting everyone involved, it means admitting that it's not just sleepwalking. Denying the possibility that it's more that it could... then that could be dangerous. I don't want anything to happen to you. I don't want to worry everyone. Then I won't tell anyone about it. For now, okay? But that doesn't mean I'm going to just ignore it. He squeezed my hand. You're one of us now. I'm going to look out for you. As a friend or as something more, we'll never know. Was that the reason he was being so nice? Because I was one of them, a cryptic. It made me a little sad to think about it. Think that it might be because of that instead of, well, just because it cared about me. We walked silently until we reached the front door. Danny pulled it open and held it for me. Will you have lunch with me today? No! Kidding, why would I do that? Well, I usually do. I know, but today I want to take you somewhere a little special. A little special besides the cafeteria? Somewhere special on the school grounds? He seemed pretty amused by my skepticism. I'm not going to make you skip school with me, if that's what you're worried about. But it's not exactly on the school grounds either. The word date kept flitting through my head, and I kept wishing I had mental fly swatter to make it stop. Lunch at school did not constitute a date. Mysterious. So, will you? Of course I will. I mean, did he really expect me to say no? Then meet me in the club room at lunch. Sure. Are you heading up there now? You usually spend your mornings there, right? Yeah, it's the most convenient place to hide until class starts. Mind if I walk you up? Well, I don't mind. You don't have anything else you'd rather be doing? Not really. Not anymore. Well, did you have something? Like football practice. But then, you know, he quit it. I guess that was true now that he quit the team. That made me a little sad. I still felt like he shouldn't have had to do that. As we walked to the stairs, I contemplated my current situation. Danny, you said it's dangerous this time of year because of Halloween or Samhain? Both, particularly the latter. He put a hand on the small of my back and quickened his pace. We can talk about it more upstairs, though. I tried to ignore the way the heat from his hand slipped through my shirt. My girl is like getting closer to love. But does he feel the same way though? I don't know. I was surprised to find an uncommon trio of people in the club room. Hi? What's Brenna doing with those two? Dan and I both paused in the doorway staring at them. They were all quietly chatting on the sofa and I couldn't make out what they were saying. The three of them grinned when they saw us. Just like conspirators? What? Who were amused we weren't in on the secret. Or maybe Spencer was rubbing off on me, and I was just being paranoid. Whatever they've been talking about, they stopped as soon as we entered. Hey Dan, didn't expect to see you here this morning. I shot Danny a look, not surprised to see that he didn't appear particularly happy to see Derek and Sean. What on earth could they have been talking to Brenna about? From the way she snarked at Danny yesterday, I kind of got the feeling she didn't like werewolves, or canines at the very least. She is a cat after all. Hey there, Little Red. Are you Derek? This guy has to be Derek. He smiled when he said that. Ugh, that again. I caught Danny looking at me. Little Red? I shrugged. It's not like I was the one that picked that name. Werewolf humor, I guess. He looked suspiciously amused. It really must be a werewolf thing. We were just leaving. See you, Dan. They hadn't looked like they were intending to leave when we arrived. They'd been pretty deep in a conversation and looked quite cozy on that sofa. Whatever they were talking about, they evidently didn't want us to hear it. As the two of them left, Brenna followed them out, looking very much like the cat that swallowed the canary. She gave me a little smug little wave before vanishing into the hallway. I wonder what they were up to. Those two almost never come to the club room. I was just wondering the same thing. He frowned, staring at them suspiciously. Well, I needed to talk to Sean and Derek anyway. Do you mind if I go after them? At the very least, I still need to tell them not to bother you again. It's fine. I can just do some reading before class then. Alright, I'll see you in first period. He followed after Sean and Derek, leaving me alone in the club room. I flopped down at the table, bearing my head in my arms. There was way too much happening at once lately. I didn't even know how to begin processing it all. Hey! Oh, hey, Allie! I looked up to see Allie lounging in the door, grinning at me. I knew that look. Letting out a resigned sigh, I motioned her into the room. Is this where you tease me relentlessly about Danny? Yep! I knew it. Don't you have filing to do or something? I managed to escape. She bounded in and pulled up a chair. So, spill. Tell me what happened. Nothing happened. He just wanted to talk. Just talk about things. Her eyebrows went way up. Things? Yeah, you know, things, stuff, you know. But anyway, this is where I'm going to stop for today's episode, because I'm always going ahead of myself, but I'm still very confused of who is Derek and Sean, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get my answer in the comment section later on, but by then, your girl has already pre-recorded way more episodes, so... you know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
I still wonder next to